Hey guys, welcome back to We Watched the Movie. I am Mike, and this is another Scream update. And that was a haunting Scream, and the reason it was a haunting Scream is because this franchise is on fucking fire right now. Not forever, just right now. We'll talk about all that. But first off, it's good to see you guys. It feels like it's been a little while. Took a little Christmas break, had some stuff recorded, still have to put some of that stuff up. We are live tonight on 12/27 at 8 p.m. We're going to review spoiler-free Rebel Moon. We're going to review spoiler-free The Iron Claw, and we're also going to talk about whatever stuff you want to talk about, like all this Scream crap going on. So join us tonight at 8 o'clock. You can go ahead and subscribe right now and set the bell so you get a notification so you don't miss it. Do that shit, or we'll say, I'll be right back, and we won't be back because YouTube will hide us and we'll pop up in the third reel somewhere, eyes gouged out. Anyways, today's news is continuous and more shit news from the Scream franchise. For those of you who don't know what's going on up to this point, it started when Spyglass fired Melissa Barrera. Spyglass owns the Scream franchise with Paramount hovering above them. They fired actress Melissa Barrera because they didn't like what she said about the Palestine-Israel war, albeit her comments were pretty damn innocuous, so it was kind of a fucking psycho thing to fire her for what she said. Most people agree. Afterwards, director Christopher Landon, who was just hired to do Scream 7, who it's like his lifelong dream to do a Scream movie. If you watch his other movies, you can tell he's always been hugely inspired by the Scream franchise. It was a perfect choice. They hired him to do the movie, and he tweeted out something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm not the one who did this. Please stop yelling at me," and then shortly deleted it after. And that was very strange, but then after that, it came out that Jenna Ortega was never going to join Scream 7 anyway because her schedule didn't call for it with Wednesday and whatnot. They had been trying to get her to do a cameo, but there was words about them not willing to pay her enough and all sorts of stuff. So we lost Melissa Barrera, we lost Jenna Ortega, everybody's mad at Spyglass, the internet's angry, and the newest news, the newest finger up the butt, is that the director Christopher Landon has officially quit the Scream franchise, tweeting it out himself that he left the project weeks ago, which is kind of weird to me because you have all these YouTube updates out there with Scream updates and they're exclusive and they know stuff nobody else knows and insider information, and yet none of these people knew that the director of the movie had quit weeks ago? Makes you wonder if all of that's bullshit. But the director said that he left because his dream job had turned into a nightmare and softly referenced some people on the internet attacking him. I'm sure there was a lot of other stuff going on. He didn't really explain exactly why. I'm pretty sure he figured that people can piece together the details with everything going on here. But part of it definitely, if you look at tweets like this, have to do with the online response to it. Now, if you don't know this, and most people don't because Twitter's not the real world and nobody actually gives a shit, but there is these people online on Twitter. There's this large group of people that usually typically have Scream 6 characters as their Twitter profile pictures. They're 99% of the time complete anonymous sources because they don't have the balls or the vag or whatever you want to say to actually show their face and back up what they say on the internet, like some update channels. But this group of people makes it their cause to go after whatever they don't like and attack and bully and harass people and whatnot. Now, not every single person who has that icon picture is a bad person, obviously, but there is this group of people who do this and they pride on themselves on canceling people even though it never actually works. And this group of people who have been going to Christopher Landon and giving him death threats and threatening his own children. What the fuck? It makes you embarrassed to be part of the Scream community when shit like this happens. Now, again, this isn't the majority of people. What I would normally say is this is a bunch of psycho fat fucks living in their mom's basement with Cheeto-crusted fingers, but in all reality, it's not. It's just a bunch of middle schoolers. I guarantee it. You can tell by the way they react. You can tell by the way they talk. It's a bunch of middle schoolers. It's fucking sick. It's pathetic. No one who's actually an adult would stand by or do any of this horrendous, stupid fuck shit. So where does that leave us right now? We've lost literally like everybody from the franchise. The only writer left behind right now is James Vanderbilt, and he's kind of out there on his own. They've already written a script that involved Melissa Barrera, now that's gone. Who knows if they've written one involving Sydney? Who knows if Nev's actually going to come back? We know that the studio said they want to go get Nev and they want to go get McDreamy and maybe fashion a movie around them, which I thought would have been a neat idea anyways, just to give Jenna Ortega and the Core 4 schedules time to simmer out, and then we can really just do one focusing on Ghostface going after her kids and really up the stakes with Sydney. If they bring back Sydney at all, of course they would have to pay her a fuck ton for that. Now, who knows if Sydney's even going to come back with all this stuff going on. What is next for Scream? So what does Scream do now? And that's the next question. What do they do now? In my opinion, again, I think the internet is a very different place from the real world. Right now, sure, you've got a lot of people saying, let the franchise die. It's over. Scream 7 is dead. They should at least give it a few years. Giving it a few years is the only thing in that makes any sense to me. This is not going to kill the franchise. You know, a lot of people think the franchise is dead unless Spyglass sells the rights and all this stuff like that. That's just not the case. Again, the internet is so different from the real world. The casual moviegoer has no idea that any of this is going on with Melissa Brera or anything. The only thing that the studio has to worry about in regards to the average audience member is for them to go to the theater and know the characters they're seeing on screen from the last movie, which is obviously a problem because we just did what we did with Scream 6. But if they were able to bring back Sydney and tie us back into that, maybe one or two of the core four and have them in the periph somewhere, it's not gonna, in the end of the day, it's not gonna matter. And I know there's these boycotts and stuff going on like that, but I'm just being real with you. Spyglass is fine if they can figure this out, and all that's gonna take is a really good writer. I'm not saying what they did in Melissa Brera is not wrong. I'm not saying that they're making terrible fucking moves as a company, because so clearly they fucking are. But this is the reality of the situation. Scream is not dead as a franchise. It's just not. There's that option. They could go get Sydney and they could pay her. And there's a big possibility that they've already got a contract in place. And they're all just waiting for all that stuff to die down. Because again, once this isn't the hot topic of the month in horror and everybody's not angry about it, they give it a few months, announce a big Scream reveal with Sydney coming back. In the general scheme of things, overall, people are going to forget about it. So what happens now? Nobody knows, Sydney. Nobody knows at all what's going to happen next. Is Spyglass going to sell the rights? I highly doubt it. I really don't see that happening. But if it did happen, if they just said, you know what, we're through with this, fuck all y'all, and did that, then that's one thing. Who would they sell it to? I see a lot of people say Blumhouse should buy the rights. God, no. I'd rather be with a bent fork. I have nothing against Blumhouse, but let's be honest. Look at what they put out lately. They make a lot of money with their films, but they're not putting out anything that's very interesting. They're not putting out anything that's a game changer. It's all kind of box office fluff, in my opinion. And it's a lot like sports. When an athlete on a team starts to mess up, starts to talk bad about his teammates or his coaches, and they want to trade him, they're lessening their own value by doing this. So the team gets less than the player's actually worth. And Scream 7, this franchise right now, with everything going on, it would sell for less than it's actually worth. So I'm not sure Spyglass is ever going to sell, as tainted as everything has become. Whether that's reality or not, they can definitely use that in negotiations against them. So Spyglass is probably definitely not going to get what they think the Scream franchise is worth. A24 would be a weird fit. And those are the two things that everybody goes directly to, but there's also just a ton of different movie studios it could go to that are just like Paramount, that are just kind of middle of the road. They don't really have a distinct flavor style of their movies, and there's a ton of different places it could go if they decided to sell it. I think what I believe is going to happen is I think that they're going to get Neve Campbell back on. I think they're going to get Courtney Cox back on. I think they're going to go get McDreamy. I think they're going to do that story, and that's what I think is going to happen in the end of the day. And I think the movie's going to come out a few months later than we thought, but not a whole lot later than we thought. That's my opinion. That's my prediction. Come talk to us about all this stuff tonight at 8 p.m. live in our live stream, or comment down below. Let's talk about it. I love your all's fucking faces, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys had a great Christmas. Let me know what's the favorite thing you got for Christmas or gave for Christmas down below. Love your fucking faces. You guys have a great day. Mom and Dad are gonna be so mad at me when they find out I'm in love with my friend Billy. Well, he's got a white shirt, tight little jeans, kinda wanna put my P in his B. He hit me with the phone, I wished it was his dick. You cut me too deep this time. You cut me too deep this time. Woodsboro will never know me and Billy were more than bros. So get it up, leave her alone. He was my Sharon Stone. Woodsboro will never know me and Billy were more than bros. So get it up, leave her alone. He was my Sharon Stone.